What's up, guys? It's your boy Ruben. New week, new video. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. Appreciate all the love. And let's just go ahead and dive right into this one. We're going to talk about the debacle that was the Lakers season, finishing 17 games under 500. Pretty embarrassing season. Probably the worst season in Laker history I can remember, considering what was at stake this year. This was a team that was supposed to be able to contend for a championship. This was a team that a lot of people consider to have the greatest of all time on it. I don't. You guys already know how I feel about LeBron James, but it is what it is. I didn't think they were going to go to the finals. When LeBron won the championship in the bubble, I said that was his last one, barring that he goes to some other super team, right? So, with that being said, I didn't expect them to look as bad as they looked this year. I didn't think the Russell Westbrook trade was going to work, mainly because those are contrasting styles that, put it this way, those styles, LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, they don't go together. Like, I think a lot of us said that, but I think a lot of people overlooked it because, hey, it's LeBron James. He's a smart guy. He should be able to figure it out with anybody. And I think, honestly, the thinking was, if you remember, AD got hurt last year. They made it to the playoffs. They got embarrassed by the Phoenix Suns in the first round and got bounced. And what LeBron ultimately came to terms with, I think, is that, hey, I can't do this by myself. When AD's out, the rest of the team isn't enough, right? When I believe there were stats out that the scoring, the general team efficiency plummeted when he would go to the bench. So how do you remedy that? You get you a Russell Westbrook, which in LeBron's head, right? I just think he was just too smart for his own good. In his head, Russell Westbrook is a triple-double machine, which is a similar style to what LeBron does in terms of scoring, facilitating, rebounding. So if I can get a similar extension of myself on the court, and I can trust that when I leave the court, that the drop off isn't significant. I think that's what he was thinking with Russell Westbrook. Plus, it was going to have the added effect, added bonus of allowing LeBron to play a little more off the ball, allowing him to shoot more, which was obviously an emphasis and focus of his this year because he's chasing the scoring title. And I don't mean the season scoring title. He's chasing Kareem, the all-time scoring title. So I think personally it was a little bit of a selfish move, and I mean it in good and negative ways. On one hand, I get the idea of maybe what he's trying to do is lessen effort on himself so that he has more energy going towards the end of the year and he doesn't have to focus so hard on doing all the little things so much. There's nothing wrong with that, so to speak. But where it was selfishly bad is I don't think it was the best move to make if you're trying to win a championship. And that's why I mean it was selfishly good and bad at the same time. I applaud the effort, I get it, but at the end of the day, I think the question had to be asked, could you win with that? And the answer was clearly no. I don't think a lot of us thought they were going to win the finals. I didn't even think they'd get there personally. So with all that being said, what would I do? If I put my GM hat on, I personally would blow it up. That's just me personally. I'd blow it up. You don't have draft picks. You don't have cap room. And any season, it feels like LeBron can hang him up. For all you know, he can win the scoring title this year, say, you know what, I'm good. And then what, right? You got Anthony Davis, a roster full of players that ain't any good. And then what? See what I'm saying? So you don't have a future in this scenario. So what I would do is, first call I would make personally is I'd try to get LeBron. Hey, I don't want to do you completely wrong, but we're going to move on. I got to do what's best for the Lakers. First call I'm making. The first call I'm making, all right, this is, of course, my fantasy scenario because I honestly don't believe that they're going to do this. I'm going to call the Pelicans. The Pelicans are probably not going to want to pay Zion. You need a box office attraction. You get Zion and probably recoup some of the picks that you gave them. Give me my picks back, right? Now you got you a star that you can build around, some of your draft picks and cap room, right? up until you have to make the decision on Zion. And if he gets injured again, you don't pay him. And then you have cap room and your draft picks. Then the secondary move is you can make the decision on if you want to hang on to AD. I wouldn't. I think he's one of the softest players I've ever encountered in my life. I would never want to rely on a guy with that much money on the line. I would flip AD anywhere. Anywhere. I'd fire sell him for any amount of draft picks, of course, because I think you can get buku picks for him and just young talent. And I would just start over around Zion and draft picks and go from there. That doesn't work. Try to convince LeBron, hey, you want to try to win one more time? Send him to Miami. Center the package around Bam or Tyler Hero. Again, get draft picks. That doesn't work. You can always sell LeBron on, hey, look, I know it's not a sexy place, but we can send you to Portland to play with Dame. Get you some of the young, get you Anthony Simons, draft picks. Just some thoughts. But enough of that. I don't want to make the video too long. Let's dive into how you really fix the team, because I don't think any of that happens. I just wanted to throw some ideas out that if it were my team, how I'd run it. So what I think is going to actually happen, I don't think you give up AD, because at this point his value's torpedoed. You're going to get 50 cents on the dollar at best for AD. So I don't think you do it. If you do it, you maybe a trade deadline deal where he's at least up some of his value. If his value goes any less, you might as well, you're just going to be stuck with him. Russell Westbrook, you have to get rid of at all costs. Has to be the move, okay? You have zero cap flexibility because he's on the roster. Now, it just so happens that there's another couple of teams that I would call that might be desperate enough in a desperate enough situation that it works for both parties. The first of which is there's rumors out there that the Indiana Pacers are willing to come up off Buddy Hield, or want to come up off Buddy Hield and Malcolm Brogdon's contracts. The reason for it is, I just stated it. They want to come up off those contracts, clean it up, build around Tyrese Halliburton and some of the youth that they do have. You may have to attach a pick because Russell Westbrook has zero value, even though it's good for both teams in terms of you give Indiana the ability to clean up the cap room, and the Lakers get to right the wrong of last year and bring in Buddy Hield, and then even better, Malcolm Brogdon. Now, both players have injury concerns, but you get the shooting in Buddy Hield and you get the playmaking and defense from Malcolm Brogdon. You're instantly a better team. May cost you that first pick that you didn't want to trade to Houston. But if they can pull that off, absolutely do it. Indiana gets to dump Russell Westbrook off the books after the year. I'm not really sure how, that meshes with Tyrese Halliburton's development to have Russell Westbrook on the roster. But if anybody would appreciate kind of a fresh start, it would probably be Russell Westbrook. And also consider that Tyrese Halliburton did play with a ball-dominant guard in De'Aaron Fox, and even played in 3-guard sets with De'Aaron Fox and Davion Mitchell as well. So just keep that in mind, that maybe it can work. You never know. Worst case scenario, you have to give him the John Wall treatment and tell him to sit down for a year and just wait for that contract to fall off. I'd hate to see Russell Westbrook's career in that way, but he's clearly declining. I think the knees are starting to go, and he never developed that shot. So just something to think about. Second call, and I'm a Knicks fan, guys, and I hate to see it, but it's something that if certain things don't happen, you might have to consider. Okay, if you're the Knicks, and this might end up having to be a trade deadline deal, because the Knicks might find themselves in a situation where they want to see if maybe they can fix some things before they give up on certain players. But the Knicks have deals that they'd like to come off of. Me personally, because we have a plethora of young guys that we want to get on the court, and there are guys making money that are hindering that. So with the development of Obi Toppin, Julius Randle becomes more expendable. He's going to have to be included in the deal. If I can give them Julius Randle and Evan Fournier, which are two really bad contracts, in terms of, and when I say bad, I mean they're the two long-term contracts that are hindering the rest of the team in terms of getting the young guys on the court, and there's no exit in those contracts in the near future. It works for both teams in that, again, you get Russell Westbrook, his contract expires, you clear cap room, and then you open up room for the youngins that we saw ball out at the end of the season. It works out for the Lakers because they get Julius Randle, who might be a little redundant. It's not perfect in terms of talent, but at least you were adding talent. But then the second part of it is they get Evan Fournier, which is the shooter that they're missing. You might even throw in Kemba Walker. I know a lot of people think he's done, but the Lakers are desperate enough to take on a Kemba Walker, and it's not like they need Kemba to do a lot. They just need him to be third, fourth, fifth scorer at best. And I think that's a role that Kemba could flourish in. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. That's something that I would do. If I'm the Lakers, those are the two calls I would make. If I'm the Knicks, I'm not sure I'd take that. I'm trying to parlay some of those guys into maybe a bigger deal for hopefully a star. But if that doesn't work, you got to get the kids on the floor. So those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. Remember, like, subscribe, please share, and definitely support. Appreciate all the love, guys. Peace.